Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we are going to be tackling something pretty different.
Yeah.
Something I'm really excited to dig into with you.
Yeah.
It's this idea of prepART.
Ooh, interesting.
And it's all about how artistic creation can actually help us build resilience
Right.
during crises and
Interesting.
difficult times.
Yeah.
And the source that we're going to be diving into today
Okay.
is this document. It's titled 090225, prepART, engelsk.pdf.
Right.
And it basically seems to outline a whole new way of thinking about preparedness.
It's definitely a fresh perspective, right? I mean, we're so used to thinking about prepping for a crisis as gathering the physical things.
Right.
Food, water, batteries, flashlights.
Yeah, the survival kit essentials, yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this document really kind of makes you think about what about your mental and emotional needs when things get rough?
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
I feel like we're so focused on surviving physically that we kind of forget about the inner turmoil
Exactly.
that a crisis can bring.
That's exactly where this whole idea of prepART comes in.
Okay.
Saying that art in any form can be a powerful tool for navigating those really turbulent inner waters.
So it's almost like having an emotional first aid kit
Yeah.
alongside your regular one.
Yeah, you could say that.
Right.
It's recognizing that the human psyche needs nourishment too, especially during times of uncertainty and stress.
Okay. I am intrigued, I have to say.
Yeah.
But how does art actually provide that nourishment?
Right.
Is it just a distraction or is there something deeper going on?
That's a great question. Well, think about it this way. Imagine you're caught in a storm, right?
Okay.
Everything around you is just chaotic and unpredictable.
Yeah.
But if you have a really strong anchor, something to hold on to, you're much less likely to be swept away.
Right.
So prepART is suggesting that artistic creation can act as that anchor for our minds.
Oh, so when everything else feels out of control, art can provide a sense of stability.
Exactly. And there's actually some really fascinating science behind this.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the concept of flow?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's that state of complete absorption in an activity
Yeah.
where you kind of lose track of time and you feel completely immersed.
Oh, yeah, I definitely get that when I'm writing. Sometimes I look up and hours have vanished.
Exactly. And engaging in creative activities, whether it's painting, drawing, sculpting, writing, all those things, can trigger this flow state.
Yeah.
And that can be incredibly powerful in a crisis.
So it's more than just a distraction then.
It's way more than a distraction.
Yeah.
It's about tapping into a state of mind that can actually soothe anxiety
Wow.
and give you a sense of purpose, even when everything else feels uncertain.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But is there any research to back this up?
Yeah.
Or is this more of a feels-good kind of thing?
No, there's actually a lot of research that supports this whole idea that art can have a really profound impact on our mental well-being,
Interesting.
even in extreme circumstances.
Wow.
For example, there was this review published in the American Journal of Public Health back in 2010,
Right.
and it really highlighted how art programs can help people cope with things like trauma, stress, chronic illness.
So real-world evidence that art can make a tangible difference.
Absolutely. In these studies, the participants reported things like they were feeling less stressed,
Wow.
more self-aware, and they even experienced increases in positive emotions.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was another study done by Stuckey and Nobel,
Okay.
and they showed that visual arts therapy actually helped to reduce depression and improve the quality of life for people that were facing all kinds of health challenges.
So it's not just about feeling good. There are measurable benefits to engaging in art,
Exactly.
especially during tough times.
Yeah.
So how does this prepART concept take this idea and apply it to crisis preparedness?
Well, one of the key principles of prepART is this emphasis on process over product.
So it's not about creating a masterpiece.
Not necessarily. It's about the act of creation itself.
Mm.
It's about that feeling of being totally immersed in the moment.
Right.
The focus and detachment from those external stressors that happens.
Yeah.
When you're fully engaged in making something.
Okay, so I think I'm starting to get even if my drawing skills are pretty basic,
Yeah.
the act of like sketching or doodling can still have like a calming effect.
Exactly.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly. It's that detachment from worries and pressures that's key.
Right.
So you can imagine like someone, for instance, who's experienced a natural disaster. Their world has been turned upside down. Everything feels chaotic. But in that moment, if they can pick up a pencil and just start sketching, it can help to ground them, give them a sense of control, you know, even if it's just on that small piece of paper.
Like focusing on that creative process provides a sense of order when everything else feels chaotic.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is it doesn't require any special skills or training.
Right.
Anyone can doodle, anyone can experiment with colors, anyone can kind of lose themselves in that simple act of creating.
Okay, yeah. I'm definitely on board with the whole process over product thing now.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious about the practical side of prepART. Like, what does a mental and emotional survival kit actually look like?
Right.
Is it just like a box of art supplies?
It's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
According to this document, a prepART kit is designed to supplement your traditional crisis supplies.
Okay.
So think of it as like adding a layer of mental and emotional support to your physical preparedness.
So like alongside my flashlight and bottled water, I'm also packing art supplies.
That's the idea.
Okay, that's a new one for me.
I know, right? It's about acknowledging that true resilience goes beyond just the physical.
Yeah.
It's about being prepared to nurture our inner world as well.
Okay, so walk me through this prepART kit then. What exactly goes in it?
Okay, well, it starts with the basics, of course.
Okay.
A sketchbook or a blank journal is essential.
Okay.
It gives you a space to capture ideas, jot down thoughts, or just doodle.
Makes sense. Something to contain all that creative energy.
Exactly. And then you'll want a variety of drawing tools.
Okay.
Pencils, pens, maybe even some charcoal if you're feeling adventurous.
Okay, so we're talking pencils, pens, maybe some charcoal. What about color?
Yes.
Because let's be real, a little color can go a long way in brightening things up.
Yeah.
Especially during a difficult time.
Absolutely. Colored pencils or markers are a great addition.
Okay.
They're easy to use, very portable.
Yeah.
And they allow you to express yourself through color, which can be incredibly therapeutic.
Okay, I'm liking this so far. So paper, drawing tools, some color. What else goes into this creative survival kit?
Well, the document also suggests including what they call modular craft materials.
Ooh, getting fancy.
There, right?
Give me some examples.
Things like air dry clay.
Oh, cool.
It's really easy to mold. You don't need a kiln or anything to bake it.
Right.
And it's perfect for creating small sculptures or just getting your hands dirty and playing with textures.
So even if I don't have a pottery studio handy, I can still get my hands dirty and sculpt something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like it. And they also recommend including things like collage elements.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, like pre-cut magazines, pattern paper, even fabric scraps, anything that can be cut and pasted to create unique textures and visuals.
Whoa, collage. I haven't done that since like elementary school.
I know, it's a throwback.
But I can see how it could be surprisingly therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's like taking all those jumbled thoughts and emotions and like arranging them into something tangible.
That's a great way to put it. It's about taking what feels chaotic and finding a way to express it visually.
Okay, so we've got our basic drawing and painting supplies, some clay for sculpting, stuff for collaging. Anything else?
This is where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
The prepART kit also includes what they call guided inspiration and idea cards.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are those?
So imagine you're feeling really overwhelmed, stressed, maybe even a little creatively blocked.
Yeah.
These cards are like little creative jump starts. They offer really simple and accessible project ideas that can help get your creative juices flowing.
So even if you're feeling totally uninspired, these cards can help you get started.
Exactly.
Okay, I can definitely see the value in that.
Yeah, they suggest, including like a whole catalog of these prompts.
Okay.
Things like doodle prompts, collage exercises, even things like gratitude drawings.
Gratitude drawings, that sounds interesting. What are those?
So it's basically about taking a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for.
Okay.
And then expressing that gratitude visually. It could be a simple sketch, a colorful doodle, even a collage.
Yeah.
The idea is to shift your focus away from the stress and the anxiety towards something more positive.
That's really cool. So even in the midst of a crisis, when everything feels uncertain, we can still find things to be grateful for and express those feelings through art.
Exactly. It's about finding those little glimmers of hope and beauty, even in like the darkest of times.
I love that. This is making me rethink my whole approach to crisis preparedness.
Yeah.
But before we move on, you mentioned something about connect and create challenges earlier.
Yes.
What are those all about?
So this is where the social aspect of prepART comes in.
Okay.
The idea is to actually use art as a way to connect with others.
Okay.
Especially during a crisis when people might be feeling isolated or scared.
Right.
The document suggests including prompts for group activities that really encourage interaction and shared creativity.
So it's not just about like individual expression.
Yeah.
It's about using art to foster a sense of community and support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine being in a shelter after a natural disaster.
Okay.
Everyone's feeling anxious and uncertain about the future.
Right.
But then someone pulls out a prepART kit and suggests like a group art project.
Yeah.
Suddenly people are connecting, they're sharing stories, and they're creating something beautiful together.
Yeah.
That shared experience can be incredibly powerful in helping people to cope and build resilience.
I love that. It's like art becomes like a bridge between people.
Yeah.
A way to connect and find solace in like shared creativity.
Precisely. And it doesn't even have to be limited to like crisis situations.
Right.
You can use these connect and create challenges anytime you want to strengthen bonds with friends, family, or even colleagues.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a wonderful way to break down barriers, foster communication, and just have some fun creating together.
This prepART concept is full of surprises.
Right.
It's thoughtful, it's practical, and it seems like it has the potential to really make a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely.
Both during crises and in everyday life.
I agree. It's a fascinating approach that really challenges like our conventional notions of preparedness.
Yeah.
And there's still so much more to explore.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a pause here and come back in part 2 to delve a little deeper into this prepART kit.
Sounds good.
We'll unpack some of the key components in more detail
Awesome.
and explore some practical tips for putting all of this into practice.
Can't wait.
So stay tuned.
Right. So welcome back. I'm excited to kind of unpack this more practical side of prepART.
Me too.
Yeah.
We've talked about why art can be such a powerful tool for resilience.
Yeah.
But how do we actually like translate that into like a tangible kit?
Right.
What should we be gathering?
Yeah, well, the document really emphasizes that this isn't about replacing your regular emergency supplies.
Okay.
It's about adding another layer of preparedness, one that focuses on mental and emotional well-being.
Right. So it's like acknowledging that our inner world needs support just as much as like our physical needs during a crisis.
Yeah. So alongside your flashlight and your first aid kit, you would have this prepART kit that's specifically designed to help you navigate all those emotional and psychological challenges that so often accompany these emergencies.
Okay. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Good.
But let's break it down.
Yeah.
What are the essentials for this emotional first aid kit?
Okay, so the document recommends starting with a really simple foundation, like a sketchbook or a blank journal. This provides like a dedicated space for capturing ideas, jotting down thoughts and feelings, or just free-flowing doodling.
That makes sense. It's like having a blank canvas for your inner world.
Exactly. And to fill that canvas, you'll need a variety of drawing tools.
Okay.
So pencils, pens, maybe even some charcoal for those who like to experiment with different textures and tones.
Yeah.
Having a range of options allows for greater creative expression.
So it's not just about having one type of tool.
Right.
It's about giving yourself permission to explore different mediums and see what resonates with you.
Exactly. And don't forget the power of color.
Yes.
Especially during a crisis. Having access to these vibrant hues can really lift the spirits.
I agree. Sometimes just seeing a splash of color can shift your whole perspective.
Yeah.
So we're talking colored pencils, markers, anything else.
Watercolors are a fantastic option too.
Okay.
Even a small travel set can open up a world of possibilities.
Right.
They're incredibly versatile and can be used to create both abstract and realistic pieces.
So far, we've got our paper, our drawing, and painting tools. Is there anything beyond the traditional art supplies?
Yes. The document encourages us to think beyond just drawing and painting.
Okay.
And incorporate what they call modular craft materials.
Modular craft materials.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
I know, right?
What are some examples?
Things like air-dry clay, for instance.
Oh, cool.
It's perfect for those who enjoy working with their hands and exploring three-dimensional forms.
Okay.
And the best part is you don't need a kiln to bake it.
Right.
So it's perfect for a portable kit.
I can already imagine the possibilities.
Right.
Creating small sculptures, pinch pots.
Yeah.
Even just rolling the clay between your fingers can be incredibly grounding and therapeutic.
Exactly. It's about engaging different senses and tapping into those calming and meditative aspects of working with tactile materials.
And you mentioned modular. Does that mean that these materials can be used in different ways?
That's exactly the point. The document emphasizes this importance of versatility.
Right.
So, for example, that air-dry clay could be used to create a small sculpture one day and then broken down and reshaped into something completely different the next.
I like that.
Yeah.
It encourages experimentation and adaptability, which are both like incredibly valuable qualities, especially in a crisis situation where things are constantly changing.
You might not always have access to the same materials or the same environment, so being able to adapt and think creatively is essential.
Okay, so we've got our basic art supplies covered.
Yeah.
But remember you mentioned something about guided inspiration earlier?
Yes.
It sounds like the prepART kit goes beyond just providing materials.
You're right. The creators of this concept understood that sometimes, even with all the right tools at our disposal, you might still feel stuck. Or uninspired.
Yeah.
Especially during a crisis.
Totally.
That's where these guided inspiration and idea cards come into play.
So it's like having a built-in muse to help get those creative juices flowing.
Exactly. Think of them as creative jumpstarts.
Okay.
The document suggests including like a wide variety of these prompts, anything from simple doodle prompts and collage exercises to more structured activities like gratitude drawings.
I love the idea of gratitude drawings. Yeah. It seems like a wonderful way to shift your perspective.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of like a challenging situation.
Exactly. It's about actively seeking out those glimmers of positivity and expressing them creatively.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that the document recommends including prompts with varying levels of difficulty.
So there's something for everyone, regardless of their artistic skill or experience.
Precisely. Whether you're a seasoned artist or someone who hasn't picked up a pencil in years, there will be a prompt to spark your imagination and invite you into that creative process.
That's such a thoughtful detail.
Yeah.
It really reinforces the idea that prep art is accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Regardless of their background or artistic ability.
Exactly. It's about democratizing creativity and recognizing that everyone has the potential to express themselves artistically.
Okay, so we've got our supplies, our prompts. Is there anything else that contributes to the effectiveness of this prepART kit?
Well, we've touched upon this earlier, but it's worth emphasizing again, the social aspect.
Yeah.
The connect and create challenges that we talked about earlier are a really key component of this whole approach.
Right. It's about recognizing that art can be a powerful tool for connection.
Yes.
Especially during a crisis when people might be feeling isolated or alone.
Exactly. Imagine being in a shelter or a community center after a natural disaster, and you've got people coming together from all different backgrounds.
Right.
They might be feeling scared, uncertain, even traumatized.
Yeah.
But if you introduce a shared creative activity, something that invites them to connect and express themselves, it can really help foster this sense of unity and support.
It's like art becomes a common language, a way to bridge those differences and create a sense of shared humanity.
That's beautifully put.
Thank you.
And the document suggests incorporating a variety of connect and create challenges that cater to different group sizes and dynamics.
So whether it's a small group of friends and family or a larger community gathering, there are prompts and activities that can help people connect and create together.
Exactly. It could be as simple as a collaborative drawing where everyone contributes to the same piece of paper.
Oh, fun.
Or it could be a more structured activity like creating a group mural or a collective poem.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about harnessing the power of art to build bridges, foster communication, and create a sense of shared purpose.
Yeah.
Especially during times when people might be feeling lost or disconnected.
And remember, these social connections aren't just beneficial during crises.
Right.
They can really enrich our lives every day.
Absolutely. I can already imagine using these connect and create challenges with my own family and friends.
Yeah.
It would be such a fun and meaningful way to spend time together.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to create those lasting memories and strengthen those bonds.
Okay, so we've covered the supplies, the prompts, and the social aspect of prep art.
Right.
There's one key element that we haven't fully explored yet.
Yes.
And that's the emphasis on process over product.
Ah, yes. The heart of the prepART approach.
Yes.
Remember, it's not about creating perfect works of art or showcasing your technical skills.
Yeah.
It's about fully immersing yourself in the act of creation.
Right.
Letting go of all those external stressors and finding a sense of calm in the process itself.
Right. It's about the journey, not the destination.
Exactly.
But how do we actually encourage that mindset?
Yeah.
Especially during a crisis when people might be feeling anxious or overwhelmed.
Right.
How do we help them let go of the pressure to create something good?
Right.
And just focus on like the experience of creating?
Yeah. The document suggests a few different strategies for reinforcing this whole process over product mindset.
Okay.
One is to actually include a simple explanation of the concept within the kit itself. So it could be like a short paragraph that explains the benefits of focusing on the process and letting go of expectations.
So it's like a little reminder to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And to simply enjoy the act of creating without judgment.
Exactly. And alongside that explanation, they recommend including some mindfulness prompts or exercises that can help people to stay present and focused while they're creating.
Like little reminders to breathe.
Yes.
To be aware of your senses.
Yeah.
To simply observe the creative process as it unfolds.
Precisely. It could be something as simple as a prompt that says, take 3 deep breaths before you begin, or notice the sensations of the pencil on the paper, or observe the colors and textures without judgment.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like weaving mindfulness into like the creative experience.
Yeah.
Helping people tap into like the calming and therapeutic aspects of art.
And for those who are comfortable with technology, the document suggests including an optional digital component to the prepART kit.
That's interesting. What kind of digital tools could be helpful in this context?
Well, for starters, they suggest considering offline art apps for devices with limited connectivity.
Right.
So imagine having access to digital drawing tools, journaling prompts, even ambient music suggestions, all without needing an internet connection.
That's brilliant.
Right.
It's like having a portable art studio in your pocket.
Exactly. And if internet access is available, they suggest including QR codes that link to simple video tutorials or guided meditations that can further enhance the creative experience.
So you could watch a quick demo on basic sketching techniques or watercolor tips or even listen to a guided meditation on like cultivating creativity.
Exactly. It's about providing multiple layers of support and inspiration, no matter what your skill level or technological access might be.
This prepART kit is truly impressive.
I know, right?
It's well thought out, it's comprehensive, and it's designed with accessibility in mind.
Yeah, it's very thoughtful.
I have to ask, what about those who might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but I'm just not an artistic person?
That's such a common misconception that we need to challenge.
Right.
Remember, prepART isn't about being good at art.
Right.
It's about embracing the process, experimenting with different materials, and expressing yourself authentically.
So it's less about technical skill.
Yes.
And more about like tapping into that innate creative spark we all possess.
And the kit is specifically designed to make that process approachable and enjoyable for everyone.
Right.
The prompts are simple and engaging, the materials are straightforward, and that emphasis on process really removes the pressure to create something perfect.
I love that. It takes the intimidation factor out of art.
Yeah.
And makes it something that anyone can enjoy and benefit from.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just about surviving a crisis. It's about thriving.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways to nourish your mental and emotional well-being, even in the most challenging of circumstances.
This has been so insightful.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm feeling incredibly inspired to put together my own prepART kit. And start experimenting with all of these wonderful ideas.
I encourage you to do so.
Okay.
It's a journey of self-discovery and creative exploration that can really enrich your life in countless ways.
But before we wrap up part 2, I think it would be helpful to delve into some practical tips for actually using these kits.
Right.
We've talked about what goes into them. But how do we actually put all of this into action?
That's a great question, and it's something that we'll explore in more detail in part 3.
Okay.
We'll discuss strategies for incorporating prepART into your life.
Perfect.
Whether you're facing a specific crisis or simply looking for ways to enhance your well-being on a daily basis.
Perfect. Stay tuned, everyone, because we're about to get even more practical with prepART. Okay, so we're back for part 3 of our deep dive into prepART.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to get like really hands-on with this.
Me too. Let's do it.
We've explored the why, like the incredible benefits of art for building resilience.
Right.
And we unpack all those amazing components that make up a prepART kit.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.
Yeah. But now for the big question.
Yeah, the how.
How do we actually use all of this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
That's what people always want to know.
Yeah.
They get really excited about the idea of prepART. They see the value in it, but then they're like, okay, I have this kit, now what?
Right. It's like having all the ingredients for a delicious meal, but not knowing the recipe.
It's the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the recipe for incorporating prepART into your life.
Okay.
First and foremost, remember that this isn't just about having a box of art supplies sitting on a shelf gathering dust. It's about integrating creativity into your life as a strategy for navigating challenges and enhancing well-being.
Right.
Both during crises and in everyday life.
So it's not just a reactive tool.
Exactly.
For emergencies.
They can be very proactive.
We can use these tools proactively to build resilience.
Absolutely.
And manage stress on a daily basis.
The more you incorporate prepART into your daily routine, the more equipped you'll be to handle stressful situations when they do arise.
Right.
It's like building a mental and emotional muscle.
I like that. Building those inner resources so we're more prepared to weather the storms.
Exactly.
Big or small.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm having one of those days work deadlines, family drama, the usual chaos.
Just a daily grind.
How could I use prepART to de-stress and shift my mindset?
Well, first remember that principle of process over product.
Okay.
Don't put pressure on yourself to create a masterpiece or impress anyone.
Right.
Simply allow yourself to get lost in the creative process.
Yeah.
Pull out your sketchbook. Choose a prompt from your idea cards.
Okay.
Or just start doodling whatever comes to mind.
Right. No judgment, just letting the creative energy flow.
Exactly.
But what if I'm feeling stuck?
Yeah.
What if those creative juices just aren't flowing?
That's where those mindfulness prompts can come in really handy.
Okay.
Take a few deep breaths, focus on your senses, and try to clear your mind of all that mental chatter.
Okay.
Remember, the goal is not to be a good artist.
Right.
It's to just be present in the moment and allow yourself to create without self-criticism.
It's like using art as a form of meditation.
Yeah.
A way to quiet the mind.
Yeah.
And tap into a different state of being.
The act of creating can be incredibly grounding and centering.
Yeah.
It allows you to detach from your worries and just be in the flow of making something.
Right.
Even if it's just a simple doodle.
Okay, so I'm doodling, I'm breathing.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit more relaxed.
Good.
What else can I do to maximize the benefits of prepART?
Remember those connect and create challenges we talked about.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the power of shared creativity.
Yeah.
So invite a friend, a family member, or even a coworker to join you in a creative activity.
So even if we're not facing a full-blown crisis, these shared art experiences can still be really beneficial.
Absolutely. It's about using art as a way to connect, communicate, and have fun together.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of simply talking about your creations afterward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sharing those thoughts and feelings that emerge during the creative process.
Exactly. It can be incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
And it can help you process emotions and connect with others on a deeper level.
That's such a valuable remember.
Yeah.
It's we often think of art as this solitary pursuit.
Right.
But it can also be this powerful catalyst for connection and community building.
That sense of connection is something we all need, whether we're facing a crisis or just navigating the ups and downs of daily life.
So in a way, prepART is about so much more than just preparing for emergencies.
It is.
It's about using art as a tool for living a more resilient, connected, meaningful life.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that creativity is not a luxury.
Right.
It's a fundamental human need that can enrich our lives in countless ways.
As we wrap up this deep dive into prepART, what's the one thing you hope our listeners will take away from this conversation?
I really hope they'll remember that art is for everyone.
Yeah.
And that even the simplest act of creating can be transformative.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And I would add that I think prepART is more than just a concept.
I agree.
It's like an invitation.
It is.
An invitation to explore your own creativity.
Yeah.
To nurture your well-being.
Yeah.
And to find moments of joy and connection, no matter what challenges life throws your way.
I love that. And remember, you don't need a crisis to start creating. Embrace the power of prepART today.
Yeah.
And discover the magic that unfolds when you invite art into your life.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into prepART.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep creating.